Hi guys, you're listening to the £3.30 podcast. I'm your host, Asha.
She's not our host and I'm Reem.
And sadly, there's no Sana, see no but we are joined by two lovely ladies today. Introduce yourselves.
Hey. It's Hafsa.
It's her.
MashaAllah. So we connected with you guys via Twitter.
Yeah.
And it was because of a Twitter thread that was unexpectedly gonna just start off like some mad social media storm. So for those people who haven't really, seen what's been going on, why don't you guys explain a little bit about what happened and everything that's been going on?
So I decided to go on Twitter and explain my experience that I had with this this job that it's more of a training that I had. So I did a tweet where I said, can you believe that I didn't get a job because the women thought she only wanted Caucasian white girls? So with that, it received a lot of unexpected posts and so on. So I thought, let me make a thread about it. And I was quite surprised with the reaction because a lot of people did notice what the story was about. So I just talked about how we went to the training and we received a lot of discrimination and racism from this woman. I don't know if I should name her name. But yeah, so it was a bit of a lengthy thread, and I decided to just sort of explain from my experience how I felt and what actually happened. So I just literally started off just, the training did go well, and I don't even know where to begin. This is a long thread. So the training went well.
How was it? So how was it? What did the day entail? So when you woke up, you went there, and then what happened? What did you expect, essentially?
Or even just, sorry to interrupt, just from start to kind of finish of how you got into this, because let's think about it. I don't know anything that's gone on. I've just seen the thread, but it would be nice for people to hear a little bit. You don't have to go in too much, but just from kind of start and how you heard about things and go from there, if that's all right.
Okay, so my friend works at this recruitment agency, so she said to me, I have a job, so are you interested in being a makeup artist for this agency? So what they will do is they will send you to a training, so that way you can start working the same week. So I thought that sounded good, because I guess it's a good opportunity now that me and my friend, I offered it to her as well. Yeah. So we thought, let's just, why not try something, see how it goes. And we went to the training. I wouldn't say there was anything wrong to begin with, because it was just it was more of an overview of what the company was, what the brand was. And as we were sitting, how it is the microaggression, I can't even put it in words, but you know what I mean, in terms of being in that space where you sort of feel like you're not supposed to be there,
right?
But I don't know how to put it in words because nothing actually happened for that to get to that stage yet. So we were just sort of looking at the products and the shade ranges, and it was going okay until the woman that owned the brand entered the room. But before she actually entered the room, there was a glass door, so I can see her standing outside, and she was recording. But in that moment, I thought perhaps it's more of on her story, we have the trainings and we're conducting a session here, sort of thing. But as she entered the room, I guess the tone sort of changed. So she was just talking about what her brand stands for, and she was talking about she wanted it to be more of a natural makeup, effortless, which fair enough, because you have every right to talk about what you want your brand to represent. But then she did go on to nitpick things that she didn't like specifically about a few of the girls. So in terms of their makeup, she was there's a lot going on. And
at this point, were you guys using her products to?
No.
Okay,
we weren't told beforehand this is what she stands for, so make sure you guys come in with natural, fresh face. It was more of there's a training, go to the training, look smart.
And just seeing you guys now, mashallah, your makeup is slaps, and I feel like it's proper on brand. Even if that's how you guys went, this is I'm actually shocked that they said anything.
What even would it look like?
Yeah, it's beautiful, mashallah.
Yeah. But even in that moment, you have I can understand if that's the look that you're going for, but nothing was told beforehand that this is what I expect from you, and you guys didn't really come to represent what my brand stood for. But it was more centered on the fact that she didn't like specific things, and I felt like she was sort of targeting the black girls in the room, the hijabi girls in the room, and I feel like even the other girls did have similar makeup to us, but I guess that was not her concern. So she was just more onto commenting about things that she didn't like. So you can add on to that.
Yeah. No, for me, I got there a bit earlier, so I was like 5 to 10 minutes early, so I was just sitting there. But from the get-go, I was like,
you can
this
tell.
is awkward.
I don't know how to describe
the whole
it.
office, I just felt like was looking at me. I could literally feel like their eyes were on me, but I was like, no, this is in your head sort of thing, so I dismissed it.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 white girls sitting next to me who literally aired my existence sitting there. I was like, hi, and nothing.
Not even responding to the hi.
I was like, I just kind of pretended like it didn't happen. You know, you style it out. You're just like, it didn't happen.
That's like, take it.
And then there was another black girl that came, so I was like, okay, I feel a bit more comfortable now. So I literally started talking to her. She was super friendly. And they were like, okay, this is a bit awkward, right? You like, and she was like, yeah, super like awkward. But she was like, she worked in sort of environment like that sort of office-based makeup brands where I've never seen nothing like that before. And so when we first went in, I was like, this is going fine, despite the fact that some of the shade ranges were incredibly ashy. Despite the fact that she gave us one, like, literal shade. Goes, you know what, 4 of you, yeah, you lot are dark, you take this. Wow. And I was like, we're different ethnicities. You're giving us the
that
same
was still
shade.
not the same colour.
Do you see what I mean? You're giving the Asian girl the same shade as me.
And even then, like, what you need to realise is that even though you guys might be of the same sort of category of like colours, there are so many different undertones for like especially 100%. Black women, and they get it so wrong every single time. So 100%. If they only have like 4 colours for like dark, like deep dark skin tones,
there was 1 colour.
That's mad.
Wow. Yeah, the second it goes up from us is beige. So it's one colour.
It's a jump.
Yeah, literally huge jump. We couldn't use that one, so that's why she gave us that one. But even that one was so ashy.
And a mixed race girl was like, oh, I'm just going to select which one is my shade, and she was medium dark, and it just didn't make any sense. So for us, I guess your audience type is, I guess, not diverse people, but you hide behind diversity. But we were both looking at each other like, are they being serious? Like, why would they think that this dark shade will be okay for every single one of the girls in this room? Bear in mind, there was Asians, there was girls from various different complexions, so it was quite funny to begin with.
So already they fucked up, basically.
100%. But I was like, we were just, you know when you're blending it into your hand, we just looked at each other like, and I don't know if they noticed that, but we literally gave each other that look like, this is not the one. Not only that, it was just like, everything about the makeup was like, okay, this is not the greatest, but we were like, you know what, we're going to firm it, no matter what, we just stay positive.
We came here to work, so.
Exactly, stay positive and whatnot. They continue, and then obviously, Hafsa noticed for me, the woman outside, because I was just listening to the other instructor, but Hafsa noticed some woman taking a video, she's like, looking at me like, what? The second she walks in, she doesn't even say hi. That's not even like, not hi guys, and automatically, hi. No, she's like, I'm chilly. She starts off, she didn't say hi, she was like, more like, this is who I am. So, this is my brand. She was going on and on. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Was it like almost like a performance, like
it
walking
really,
in like
do you know, funny enough,
enter from stage 6, like
I said this is she's a character. So I'm very group. I was very confused. I was looking at her like, I can't believe this is happening.
No, it was like she was putting on a character. It didn't even seem natural. So we noticed that. I was like, we said to each other after, like, this is literally devil's wear product. Like, this is not normal at all. But then she was going on, and that's when she started making the sly comments and whatnot. And we were like, some of the comments were so, you know, when you're we were saying like, we were such a daze that we were like out of like shock that I didn't even notice. There was even more comments she said. But I was just, after the first 2, I was like silent. I was like, I was like, I don't know what to say now. So
So what were some of the comments that she was
making?
This
is what I wanted to ask, but I thought
I'd one of the girls. So we want, mind you, she was saying, we want this natural look. She's saying natural so many times that I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Speak to the mic,
You know, she was like, natural and whatnot. She goes to one girl, we don't want lip colour like that. That's definitely too light for your skin tone. You're pushing it.
She was a dark skinned girl.
I was like,
she was a dark skinned girl, and that is the shade of her lip. She just used a nude. She goes, that's just far too light. I'm just like, but that's her lip. No. That's her lip colour.
I'm actually.
And then she goes, there's a lot going on with your, but it's makeup. And it's natural makeup. So what is there that is a lot going on with your face? It just didn't make any sense.
And then she must have said something to Hafsa about, you have such an angelic face. No. But your lashes, no, we can't have that. Mind you, she's got lash extensions herself. So me and Hafsa looking at her, like, literally her lashes look the same as her lash extensions. So I'm like, I don't understand how it can be fine on you, but for me, it must be extravagant, it must be extra. Like, what's the difference?
Everything has to be exemplified. Like, it made it bigger than it actually is. Like, we're literally wearing the same makeup as all the other white girls in the room. And it's natural makeup. No cut crease, no glitter, no literally foundation, mascara,
Literally.
lip gloss, which is literally what her brand is. She has those products in front, which is what we've been testing on. So I could have been wearing Trini products as well and come with that same face. But I guess to her, that was not her concern. But even then, I didn't think too much in that moment because I thought, again, you have every right to think, okay, this is what my brand stands for and this is the look that I'm going for and you guys are not fitting the look. But it's when you are going into further detail about people's natural appearance and you're nitpicking things that you don't like I can't even remember half the things that she said, but she was more commenting on the girl's lip, just a lot going on. What does that mean? Like, there's a lot going on with your face.
But it's the way she do it. It's like she's not saying a lot. She'll be like in your face with her hands, and I don't know about.
It was just such an awkward moment because the girls, everyone can tell. Like, we were all like taken back. Like, did she really actually say that?
Yeah. And it's mad because you're proper fair. You're saying it's your brand, have it how you want, but then it's like, why did she have to overstep it?
Pick on things that she didn't like in front of everyone.
And that's so humiliating as well as someone coming in and then that's what you're hearing. That's horrible. Sorry.
Sorry, it's
I think one of the girls after I spoke to her said at the end they gave her micellar water and wipes and said in case you need it, and they handed it to her. There's just a lot more. Obviously, everyone has their own personal experience, so I can't speak on everyone. But I think they made even another girl feel some insecure because she was commenting on the size of her lips as well.
Oh my god!
But
what was she saying? If you want to say,
do you remember that one?
I think it was just something like, "Oh yeah, but your lips are too big." That's something like that I heard.
Yeah, because I don't want to misquote that.
But I swear, do you know when you just like in her days?
It's a lot. Yeah, she was saying a lot of
what's
things.
going on.
So what was like? Okay, so I'm just trying to
see.
It's actually so baffling because it's like you hear about these things and then it actually happens and you're just
and
like,
you're still shocked.
In 2019, big 2019. It's actually so mad. It's like, oh yeah, her lips are too big, but you man are out here getting fillers. So
that's the worst thing. This woman has fillers.
She
has fillers herself.
What's going on?
She's got Botox, fillers, everything. But then I don't understand. What do you want? Because you claim like this, like me, like natural. You're actually not natural like me. It's literally
effortless, fresh, like you just woke up.
You don't like you just woke up.
So no, but did you guys like feel like a lot of the comments were directed towards the black girls in the room as opposed to the white girls? Was it only you guys that were getting criticised? None of the white girls got any criticism?
Not one comment.
And it was the same exact type of makeup, everything.
Exactly. Not all of them, but most of us had the same type of makeup.
Exactly.
Maybe one or two had
the
like
same sort of simplistic.
Yeah, like the neutral tone.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, to you guys, it's not even deniable. Like, you can't even deny like that was a jab towards the black girls.
Do you know what I feel like? It's more of the fact that she entered the room and she was taken back. She was
Yeah.
like,
oh my god,
what are you guys here for?
No way.
And then she goes,
No, did she say that?
Even look scared.
She said that. What are you guys here for?
Clearly, you know these people are conducting a training session. The trainers were trembling. I was like, this is what they say at the end. It's just her. Like, when I enter the room, I just wonder, would she like the shirt? Would it go well with the belt? I was just like,
that's very sad.
And she goes, she don't like cut creases. She don't like. I'm thinking,
no one here has that.
what are you talking about?
But do you know what killed me the most? Then she goes, she doesn't want any sort of harsh lines, no eyelines. Then she goes back to the same girl who she made the comment about the lips.
And she
not like
pointed
you,
it,
not like that.
That's
You're
the one
not
that she
allowed
gave
that
the
sort of
wipes
eyeliner.
to.
Trini will lose it. She will lose it if you have that sort of thing. And I was just like, you went back to the same person again. Like, imagine how this person now feels. There's one comment, then there's another comment. Like, for me, I was just like, the humiliation for some people, like, it's so bad.
It wasn't even bad.
Even if it's not for me directly, I can feel
Yeah.
the exact same pain.
It's true.
But there will be people that will listen to this podcast or like read your thread and say, actually, girls, you're entering into an industry that's very tough and they don't really give a shit about your feelings. It's about time you guys got like thick skin.
Yeah.
What would you say back to that those sort of comments?
Fair enough, I understand to some extent, but then again, makeup is about expression, and when it comes to this industry, it wouldn't make sense for you to criticize natural things, especially when you go about inclusivity, diversity. I'm all here for different complexions and different shades, but reality is you are denying people working for you, and you are boldly racist, not even deniably, like you're boldly racist, and you're specifying who you want to represent your brand. What does it even mean that you don't fit my brand? It says a lot about her brand and her industry. once we left the training, we were all confused. Me and Sarah was like, did that really happen? We were laughing about it for a bit. But it was more of centered on the fact that, okay, so we're scheduled to work in the next day. So let me contact my friend to see where we're based, what time do we start, and you know the details of the, like, generally when we're actually going to start. So it took a while for the agency to get back to us. It was literally midnight until she called me and she goes, girls, like, if I'm being honest, she doesn't want you to work for you guys because you guys are not white Caucasian girls. You guys are not diverse enough. Like, even that doesn't make any sense because we are diverse.
Hold on. So because you're not white and you're not diverse enough.
And
how does that make any sense?
Diverse, exactly. We are the diverse one.
Like, white people from Liverpool. It's like, what's going on?
Literally. And we couldn't work for her. And again, like me and Suhail did, we just laughed about it. So like, I can't believe this is happening. But when you think about it, just like, this is actually ridiculous. Like, in this day and age, and especially that's against the law. That's how could you specify that you only want white Caucasian girls boldly as well? Not even, you know, maybe they don't have the experience, which is what she said on the article. But even then, reality is that's not what she said.
Did you manage to talk to anyone else that was on it, like any other of the girls that you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a group chat called Cancel, and a lot of it was quite sad because I feel like even when I made the thread, some of the girls were like, oh, thank you, because they thought it was just them feeling that way, or even, you know, I feel like that shows that a lot of the experiences that we have is very dismissive, and that a lot of the times we think it's all in our head 100%. And that it's not there, but reality is we experience this in every field, like the microaggression, the way that black women, people of colour, are made to feel sort of like less than, and it just, I feel like for me, I had to make some sort of, you know, comment or just sort of, you know, make it be known that this is actually ridiculous and she can't get away with it. So I feel like, you know, let me just start make a friend and just comment on.
Good for you.
Honestly, that's so sick. I love that. I love that attitude, because it's true. Like, the experiences of black women in particular are always minimalized, as if it didn't really happen. And if you do speak on it, it's kind of like, oh, you're getting a bit aggressive. Oh, that's really like unprofessional of you, blah blah blah. But it's like, but it's always an excuse for any other women to talk about it. And it's like that white women tears bullshit. Like, they can cry about shit, they can get upset about things, they can complain. But us as black women, we're always expected to kind of take shit on and like, you know, don't get too upset. You know, you might lose a job, or you might not have opportunity, and it's just like, that's you're too sensitive to it. It's like,
play the race card.
There you go. Always. So it's like, so when I saw that thread, I was like, yeah. Sis went off. Like, I love that. I loved it so much. And it was like, it's like it's not even like, oh, there's this Somali girl on Twitter that's going off, blah blah blah. It was like, you were taking on a big ass brand. It's not even like some small like the little lip balms that you get from some random Tesco. Like, it's not even that. It was like, she's an entire like enterprise, and you were like, I don't give a fuck, because I want to be respected, and you will hear me, and like,
and they did,
so fucking respect it.
If I'm being honest, I didn't even expect that. I thought, let me do a little story time. But I definitely agree. Like, I feel like for me, it was more of the fact that you feel like you can make comments like this and get away with it and not come back to you. So, and especially like I was saying, you know, all these brands that say they want to be diverse, they want to be inclusive of all the skin ranges, but reality is that's not what you stand for. So you're hiding behind that image of being diverse when that's not the reality, because you're denying diverse people of actually working for you.
Because I went on that company's social media, and like, listen, I was like, hey, like, there was literally, maybe there was like two black girls, one mixed race girl and one hijabi, and I know the hijabi, she's buff, mashallah. Do you see it as well?
They're diverse white girls and that.
And then the rest, it was like Sally from Hull, Becky from Liverpool. It was just like,
it was ridiculous.
I was like, but even then, because I think she mentioned in the article as well, like, well, there was an article that basically followed up after this, and okay, no, you guys explain it. You guys talk about it.
I can pull that up.
Sis got receipts. But yeah, so there was an article that was written up after that because of the thread, because the thread basically went viral. Everybody was talking about it.
But mind you, she's had another issue before. Like, this is not the first time she's said something that's
not
controversial. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, this is the first time she's actually slipped up, and we were there to witness it, sort of thing. She literally went on This Morning and had an issue with a black model in her 50s where she rubbed on her skin and said, your skin is like marble. The elasticity in your skin, I want to be black. But there was a huge, like, the
It's
viewers
never the first time for people like
the
her,
viewers
bro.
complained and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, so clearly it's a pattern of behaviour.
Wow.
And she's just, but it irritated me that nothing happened after that. She was still working with ITV, same thing. Like, and I'm just like, how do people just continue to get away with it?
It's because it's not their problem.
Yeah.
They don't care. It's not their problem
That's
at
not
all.
their concern.
But
They don't
if
give
you
a
slip
shit.
up, that's it.
At all. Like, that's
you
it.
can't make mistakes.
Fired,
Yeah.
done, on the spot. You're finished.
You'll
Get out
be
of
front
town.
page.
Them ones.
Literally.
It's so long.
And also, I really appreciated how everyone, you know, made comments like Habiba da Silva, Aisha, so many other lovely girls that actually I didn't even expect the Muslim community and other as well people to retweet. So I feel like that made what I was saying a little bit more valid, because I feel like, you know what, it's just me. I don't think people are going to really see what I actually have to say. So I do really appreciate that, guys. So thank you guys for yeah, but
So you guys were approached by a publication.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to cover the story.
Yeah.
And so talk us through that. What happened?
They messaged us and they said they wanted to do a story on this, and I felt like, actually, why not? Because I feel like she can't get away with this. If nothing's going to come out of it, at least let me say what I need to say, so that way other people maybe feel empowered and not let this be dismissed and so on. So they did contact me and we spoke about the incident, but briefly, but not in too depth. But we was in the process of thinking about maybe we should think about what we're saying before we actually continue. So I did specify in the conversation that to not use my name or to blur out my picture, and I'm willing to even actually speak to the other girls so that way you can get a different perspective on a different angle on actually what happened. But she didn't give me any time, so within the same hour she posted the story, and she posted the whole thread without any of my opinions or any of my perspective, and again painted the women in a very good angle. So it seemed as if we were sort of like the liars, or we were just sort of being bitter about the situation, when in reality that was not the case. So yeah, it was quite disappointing, because I really did think maybe this woman of colour would have some sort of scope on, you know, like be a bit more interested on what I actually have to say, rather than it being like, you know, other newspapers where they don't really care. They just
And actually sharing your story as opposed to making it something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Literally, and I don't think that's what journalism is about.
So what did she actually end up saying? Asha, you've got the thingy in front of you, don't you?
Hold on. Let's have a look.
And she said your name and everything, didn't she?
My whole thread.
Bloody hell.
With her name, her picture, everything was there. So there's no anonymity at all.
And also, like, my thread is just, like I said, it was a story time. It wasn't even articulated in a way where I felt like it would be right for it to be on a newspaper.
Well,
like,
you never
I was using
you
memes.
don't think that, do you? When
I
you're
really didn't
on
expect
Twitter?
that. Yeah, so I was just like, I feel like it didn't represent exactly what I wanted to actually say. So I feel like I was quite disappointed, because if you look at even her responses, it's written in paragraphs. She was just talking about, it was just one-sided. Like, it was obviously one-sided. So for me, I felt like that was quite disappointing. And I expected better from her.
So can we say the name of the brand? Or do you want to keep it secret?
I want to keep
I know. I
Keep
feel
it
like
secret?
I don't know.
for now, just in case.
I feel like people would know.
they'll
If you know, you know.
Okay, people
Yeah.
figure out themselves. Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, so the Metro reached out to her for a statement, because they have to, and she said, "At no point this week, or have I ever mentioned only wanting to work with women of any particular race. For me, the beauty of the brand is that we celebrate all women. You can clearly see from the brand website, the models, social platforms, and if you were shopping with us in one of our retail spaces, that we are based on providing simple and natural makeup solutions for every woman." Obviously, you might have different story because that just doesn't seem to be true to you guys at all.
Because if it was for every woman, that room was every woman. There were white girls, there were Asian girls, there was black girls, so many different skin tones and shades. So we had the experience. So if she really did want us to work for her, that is exactly what she thinks her brand might represent. But I guess that's not the case.
And what people don't get as well is like,
yeah.
even when it comes to makeup and like when you talk about diversity, it's not necessarily about like different types of skin tone. It's just like different face shapes as well. Like how my makeup technique could be completely different to Reem's and to you guys as well, because I have different features that I might want to accentuate, or like things that I want to do differently. So it's not even just like having the bog standard symmetrical face. Like you have to have like sort of women with chubby cheeks and like and like, you know, like the
Double
neck
chin,
fat, double chin vibes,
Yeah,
and like
I
it's
agree.
so much more than that. So it's
I
like just
agree.
looking at like just having a look on their social media and looking at their models is kind of like really.
Yeah.
I think that's always a really lousy way out of things. Like when people are like, just look at the website, because it's like that's not the point. It's about what you're selling. It's about the fact that who is getting involved in the brand and how are they leaving feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like your experience there just proves it. The fact that you said you walked in and felt instantly like something was wrong, you know, like your gut
From the
speaks.
get-go.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like you might not have heard anything at that point, but you just
But we
felt
pushed it
it.
out and we're like, no,
Yeah.
it's in my head.
And that's
Yeah.
the sad thing, is that there is that thing of like, maybe it's just in my head, maybe it's just in my head, and then it's like, okay, I'm proved right.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just shame, and it's like such a poor way out of her being like, just look at the site, look at the social media, here's one
But the
hijabi and
thing
one...
is, we have looked at the site and the social media, and it's still doesn't
Yeah.
What are you even talking
But
about?
coincidentally, the next day, you see
My models. What was she saying?
on her live stream, on her story, you'll see the most ethnic models come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Staffers
it
that I've
happened.
never seen. I didn't see them in the office.
This was not there.
So I don't know where they came from, because I never saw them in the office. So she clearly got them the same day.
Literally, she's like, quickly, let's go on to the diverse girls.
Not even that, like when Hassan must have gone to toilet like 5 minutes after the training, I was like texting her like, Hassan, you need to come out now because I'm
come out
so
right now.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People are walking past me a few times, like the same person's
Yeah.
walking past me, like to try and get a good look
Yeah.
almost. I'm
Wow.
like, listen,
Yeah.
I want to get out of this building right now.
Even
Go.
the customers that were supposed to do the makeover, they were looking at us like, are you supposed to be here? And I'm thinking, I'm supposed to do a makeover for you. I was like, okay, I don't think this is for me. But even then, I was still optimistic. So I thought, you know what? In that moment, like, again, that's what we mean. Like, we're so dismissive and we just throw everything under the rug as if it hasn't happened. But I feel like for me, what was literally outrageous was the fact that you boldly said Caucasian white girls. It wasn't even the training, because I feel like we're quite dismissive. So I don't think I would have made a scene or an issue about that. But it was the fact that you boldly said white Caucasian girls.
And now you're lying.
And now you're lying.
Saying, I
Exactly.
never
And
said
she's
that.
saying, I want diversity, but then we were the diversity.
Yeah.
But you know what else, but it's okay.
So in an ideal situation, what do you want to basically come out of this? Like, what would make you happy, like, moving forward?
First of all, I don't want her to be able to behave like that again.
Yeah.
In public or not in public. You should know next time, okay, let me be a little bit more careful. At
Cautious
least.
about what I say.
Because there's going to come another time when there's going to be ethnic girls in a situation like that. And if she thinks, okay, I can behave however I want to, she's going to do it again. So if not in public eye, behind closed doors, I want her to know she can't behave like that and then won't run. Because those instructors were looking down when she was behaving like that. They didn't say a single thing. They made almost like excuses for her behaviour.
Saying
So I
that
could
she's just an
tell.
honest woman.
Yes, I could tell this is behaviour she does all the time, clearly.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we were more like, okay, let people know at least. And let other girls know, don't go there, sort of thing. That's how you're going to get treated.
I agree.
Because at least if I had known, genuinely, I would not have gone.
Yeah.
And it's like she's got a responsibility being in the public eye. That whole
Yeah.
honesty thing, that has to go out the window at that point, because it's
Yeah.
not about you being honest. It's about you just can't discriminate like that. Like,
But then I
what are
think
you
for me,
doing? How are you using that as a thing?
Even if she thought, okay, maybe they took it out of perspective and that's not what happened, she didn't even have the decency to make a statement or even message us privately or something, because she did follow us. But then I feel like what she decided to do is go on the Metro and write her version and her perspective of the story without actually considering what we felt and how we thought the situation was. And I guess that says a lot about how she treats other people, and she's quite dismissive. So I feel like for me, I needed to make a comment and show that actually you can't just say what you feel like saying and get away with it.
100%.
But again, she didn't comment or make a statement.
But
or
what
even,
you've done now is you've caused a bit of an earthquake. And that is actually really powerful. Like, both of you speaking about these things is so important. And it's showing people that it's like, yeah, we have these experiences and we're not going to be quiet about it. And that is so empowering for people. They're going to turn around and be like, yes, it's not happening. You're not going to get away with it. Yeah. That is more than you could have taken from this situation. That's like amazing. You've managed to twist it on its head. And you know what? You're fighting, like Asha said, you're fighting not just her and her brand, but it's like a massive industry. And the fact that even she had time to prepare for this article, and obviously she's got the right people making her say the right things.
Yeah.
You're just being straight and you're saying, this is my story. And actually most people are siding with you, and that's the reality. I think. to bun that industry.
But it's pretty transparent. Like you could probably tell. Like if she's behaved like that in the past, there's only so long until somebody else has a similar experience
100%.
because there will be. I strongly feel like you guys aren't going to be the last people to ever experience that. There will be more girls.
Even the girls that were commenting, or so many different people were commenting, even talking about their own experiences. That was quite similar to mine. And maybe not necessarily with the brand in particular, but just the makeup industry or even the work field as a whole as well. It says a lot. It really does says a lot, like how black women are made to feel.
This is like when before Rihanna released her 40 Shades of Fenty Beauty.
I stand Fenty.
Everyone does. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and I think the criticism that the majority of the cosmetic industry bosses sort of said was, we don't really create a wide range of like different shades and shade variety, and the reason why is because we don't really get that much money from black women, like as in they're not they don't really shop, they're not really our audience type, they don't really buy makeup like that.
They don't shop.
They don't really buy makeup like that. They were like, there's no reason for us to do an extensive shade range if we get a lot of the majority of our money from the lighter shades and then we do from the darker shades, as in like the darker shades would be like you like Reem. So then when Fenty came out with 40 different shades and she sold out ASAP and it was like a frenzy, that's when everyone sort of woke up and were like, shit, it's actually mad, like deeper, darker skin tones. There's so much money in this if we only like sort of invested a lot of money. So it's like, it's shocking to me that in light of everything that's happened, why wouldn't she want to jump on the hype? Why wouldn't she want to sort of jump on the wave?
As
a business person.
I think that would have been amazing marketing if you just thought, okay, let me be diverse by actually producing products that
and that's what majority of companies do nowadays. They just slap on one dark skin hijabi look at us, it's super diverse, everyone's gas. It's like that's just what everyone does nowadays. So it's like, if you wanted to guarantee sales, if you wanted to guarantee, like, you should have gone with these girls, like even just like not even like on the face of your campaign, but just like on the back end of it, just sort of, I've always said like your workforce should always reflect the audience that you're trying to reach out to.
100%.
And if you don't hire girls that are like different looking or like have a different taste, and like if all you want is bare skin tones and like like just very neutral, natural, and not everyone wears makeup for that.
Yeah, literally.
Do you know what I mean? Like majority of girls don't wear makeup. It's like we wear makeup to enhance our features, but not every day you want to do like skin. Like people love doing like the contouring and the highlighting. Like the majority of girls love to do that. So it depends on just kind of like what type of girls are you going for then, because it's just long. It's just so fucking long, and then her excuse. Oh, like it makes me sick. It makes me sick. Like you, no effort put into your excuse to at least come up with a good lie.
That's it.
But the thing is, I also want to say is we actually secured the job. It wasn't even a thing where there's a possibility of you not being able to work. It was literally the training session. So that doesn't make any sense to me, because she did mention that we didn't have experience, even though she did say we look like skilled makeup artists. So she's contradicting herself again. But yeah,
it's not making sense. It's not making sense.
Nothing's making sense.
Okay, so what are you guys' like sort of hopes and dreams?
Lol.
I want to know.
We only just graduated.
That's not heavy.
Literally.
Are you still sort of thinking about it?
Yeah, we both did like politics. And then she did like politics and history. I did like politics and international relations.
Yeah, international
so we're
relations gang.
The more we're like, after we're like, the world's really messed up. The United Nations not as great as I thought. You're like, you just realise how crappy the world is. And you're like, wow, it's not really about politics. I don't know anymore. We're just. We're going with the flow currently, just seeing. That's why I was like, side money, okay, let's just do it.
But it's a bit like, you made a very good point before as well when we were having a conversation. You were like, we're just usually surrounded by people that are like us, 100%. Surrounded by love, surrounded by good positive vibes. So when we're outside that bubble, I guess this is the reality of what the work field is like. So I guess it's a bit daunting. So it's like, wow, 100%. If this is what is out there, I think a lot of people experience similar experiences that we had as well, and I think that definitely needs to change.
I'm seeing different faces. One looks really negative and pessimistic and like scared for it.
Like, I used to be really hopeful at the beginning of uni, and then after uni I'm like, because I went to a very, very white uni, so just seeing how they had it easier from the get-go, I was like, okay, if the real world is like this, the chances are very, very slim as it is. So I think I wanted to have a like huge political career when I first started uni, but then I'm like,
I think you still can 100%.
I don't know, just when England is the world of Brexit right now, it's like, we forget that London is really small and not a lot of people are like us here.
That's a really good point, sorry, because I remember going for this when Brexit actually happened. I was like, yeah, no, we'll be fine, surely, like, no, come on, EU. And then it happened and I was like, oh. I was like, oh my god, people actually don't, like, people are actual bigots. But there is still a huge majority that aren't. Not majority, there's still a huge number that aren't. And I think how you've dealt with this shows you could definitely be political, because you're like, nope, and this and that.
It's quite draining, you know.
It is.
I was saying, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of talking about the same incident over and over again. So I feel like I sort of like sympathize towards those people that do like social justice or like I feel like journalists that talk about matters that are more important than makeup, obviously. So I don't know if that would be for me.
I think it's but here's the thing, I think in anything that you guys do, like just sort of speaking from experience of like a black Muslim young woman, that's been in like kind of like that corporate world and like has experience of that. Like I've worked in so many different places, and I can tell you in every single industry that I've worked in. So I've been a journalist for a while now. I've worked in a creative agency before. I can tell you for a fact, I've always experienced some level of racism, some level of discrimination, some level of Islamophobia in every single workplace that I've been at. And I think, but it's like you can't avoid it at all. Like no matter what happens, unless you worked in like a startup, like the ones where it's like in Shoreditch somewhere where everyone's like woke or whatever. Like unless it's very, very rare for you guys to ever have an experience that is completely like plain sailing and nothing happens, because ultimately you can't control the environment that you're in.
Literally,
that's just how people are, and it's true. Like just as much as we've sort of been raised in our little bubble of like our Somali Muslim community, they've been raised in their white sort of like like community, and that's not to say that all white people are racist, but it's just kind of like if your friendship group isn't that diverse, you wouldn't understand these things moving forward into the future. You wouldn't understand like there are certain things that people of colour just don't like hearing, or like you can't say this for the black people or Asian people, like they won't like it. So it's a learning curve for everyone, which is fine. Everyone's allowed to have that period to kind of learn and like understand. But once I check you don't repeat it. That doesn't happen again. Like that's not gonna happen. So it's like it's so difficult. Well, like, it's so hard, and sometimes it really does get you down, because as you said, it's so draining. Like this is kind of like your first like, sort of real experience.
Like wow, like
it's exhausting.
People actually experience.
It's like it's non-stop, and like when you realize as well that it's not everyone. Honestly, I can tell you now, it's not everyone. Not everyone has that sort of opinion, and there will be people who are like proper allies towards you guys and like really stick by you guys and like really help you fight the fight. But ultimately, it's the battle that's ongoing, and the work that you guys are doing now, even just from like your ages as well, like they're 21, like do you know what I mean? Like when I was experiencing that bullshit, I was about the same age as you, and I was scared to even say anything, because you're like the rookie in the industry, you don't know what you're talking about, no one's really backing you, but also these conversations weren't being had sort of openly. You sort of felt like just sort of suck it up, like you don't really want to be seen as that kind of black girl that's coming to the, like you already feel different, you already feel like people feel a type of way about you, like even just like when you guys were saying how when you walked into that room you already felt like like
you can't even put it in words, like it's just,
I know what you mean, you just feel automatically you feel like an outsider, you automatically feel like you've been ostracized, and like everyone's looking at you like you ain't supposed to be here. You feel like that, and it's horrible.
Of all jobs and makeup artists as well, so that for me that was just like, you're being ridiculous, because I expect that from I guess law firms or business companies and so on, because it's a bit more like, I guess, I don't know, it's more serious. But with makeup it's more of like expression and inclusivity, and I just didn't expect that from the training. I was quite optimistic, we were quite excited about it, so we thought, you know what, why not, let's just go experience it, see how it goes. But it wasn't the best experience.
But I don't want you guys to sort of look at this experience and think, oh, just moving forward, like I don't really want to be in that. I don't think I can fight this all the time. But like you have to deep it. Look at like the 4 Congresswomen, like look at Ilhan Omar, like the work that she's doing. On the face of it, the biggest bigot, the biggest racist, like she's fucking fighting, like she's like, I don't care what the fuck you gotta say, like this is what I'm saying, and she calls them out, and she's so abrasive about it, and like she's so like unapologetic about it, and it's like that's like the role models that we need. The more that we see that, the more like you guys can definitely do this. If you're doing this from like you're 21 and you're doing this already, like come on, like you can. If you the moment you call it out immediately, always know that the law will always be on your side. Like there's no way that there can be like a blurry line between discrimination, especially when it comes to like race and like people like and like your religion. They can't do that kind of shit at all. That shit don't run. Whether I don't care what the fuck you believe, this is the law. Like so you respect it. Yeah.
I even said it wasn't even about her range, her products, or even the way she spoke to us. For me, is the fact that as a company or as like legally, there's laws and legislations around it. You can't be discriminatory and racist and say you want white Caucasian girls.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like that was quite ridiculous and outrageous. And my issue was with that mainly, because of course we experience things subtly, like you know, like with microaggression. I guess that was more than microaggression because she had a lot to say.
That was no aggression.
That was macroaggression.
That was aggression. But I would say the fact that she even said it, for me, that was my frustration because you are actually boldly, not even subtly saying, you know, there's something off about the girls, but you literally said you want white Caucasian girls. And for me, that was my issue. Because I feel like for me it was like, imagine that was my younger sister or maybe someone that was very like, you know, hopeful about the job and maybe their first job. I feel like that would have been very heartbreaking for them. So for me I was just like, oh, she can't get away with that. That's
straight.
That's
love
like,
that.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't care. Like I thought, you know, let me do a favour for my friend, but let me just get a bit of pee. But yeah, that was my issue with that mainly.
I just wish I said something in the moment now still. And you know when you regret it?
Like,
I feel like, no, you can't say it. It's not okay. Like, I
Get it out now.
Yeah. But I was so dazed and so like, I take it back.
It's really shocking when things like that happen and you're like, should I have said it? What could it? But do you know what? You guys have... the fact that you didn't say something has caused all of this, which is a good thing. Because if you'd got it out and had that discussion there, they would have been very scared of you. And they'd be like, okay, so let's take you into... Oh no, it wasn't meant like that. And then you wouldn't have made that thread had you had that conversation there. Even though it's good to like interrupt things and challenge people, sometimes it is just so shocking. You can't always... People just take you like by surprise sometimes. Sometimes it's like, oh... Can you say that? Is that out of order? Like, how many times have we just heard things and been like, is that really what happened? And then later it dawns on you and you're like, oh my days.
When you're in the shower.
Having an imaginary
just there like, and the water trickling down, you're like, fuck's sake. It's fucking long. It's long.
Literally. I agree.
But it gets at that moment. It happens.
Yeah. And you made like I said, you made a positive kind of turn. You take the mic just to eat popcorn.
Sorry, yeah.
She's like, I was just saying that you made a positive turn for it, and I think that's just so admirable. Honestly, mashallah, like it's huge, honestly, because everyone it can feel so big for you to address, and it is just easy to go home and be like a little bit bummed out that happened, but then just get on with it, and you were like, nope. And that's just amazing, and that's the stuff that changes things. And actually what will happen is your name and your vision and what you expect for yourself, your expectations, that's going to be noticed by other people. Like you even mentioned, other people noticed it, like Habiba de Silva and all of that, and those things will stay in people's minds, and you never know what opportunities will come out of this. Not that I'm not saying you should see it as like an opportunity thing, but it's like people see that you're not a coward, and people see that you're not scared, and you're like, yeah, I'm on it, and you now not represent that, but you stood up for that, and that's big. So I think you should be really, really proud of yourself.
No, I'm joking.
That's so sweet.
Sorry. Well, you should, honestly.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah. And you can have a political career, sorry.
Yeah, I think she should go for it. She'll be sick.
but the people in this country are just so confusing. I mean, even at uni, two people mistake me for Sikh. So that's what I Just outside.
My friend went there. It's so bad.
I was just like, and it's the fact that it's not like someone will mistake you in like quite.
Wait, were you wearing a turban, like a full hijab?
No, I was wearing full hijab as normal. But
I wouldn't know how to react. I was just like,
I was just like, no, I'm not a Muslim. He's like, oh, okay. He must be from Kent or something. I was like, okay, there must be Muslim people in Kent. Are you okay?
Like, you know the hijab. It's very
it's not even like, there must be Muslim people. It's like, 100%. Have you seen the TV? Do you have internet?
I read he at least knew what a Sikh looked like.
No, it wasn't once. It was twice this happened. So then I was like, this is a joke. That's when I get disheartened. I'm like, this this country is really finished. Because you can't matter. Really? I'm so black and so obviously black.
She's having an asthma.
It's very frustrating. I know.
I'm so black.
It's so obvious I'm black though. Like I've never met
They wear it like
a black sheep in my life. So I don't know what world they come from, honestly.
I'm gonna
He was
die.
like, oh, I've never met a Muslim before. Okay, cool. And I had to.
Really?
Yeah, this is in a group activity at uni.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I feel like
There's other
there's
people
more
in
Muslims
this
than Sikhs.
I can't believe
Yeah,
the
in
fact that he
London,
was
like-
sick.
100%.
That's cheeky.
But
That's
still,
cheeky.
He's like, I've never met a Muslim in my life. I was like, okay. You're like 20. Like, wow. There's a big world out
Do
there.
better.
100%.
But there are people there are lots of people that are fighting that.
Literally, yeah.
There are lots of, especially women now, that are fighting that. And I think it, like I said, it feels like a really big problem. But everyone just does their little bits in their industries and slowly chips away at
I'm so
it.
proud of them, yeah. Just even people opening up doors and not even realizing they're opening up doors. Like Ilhan Omar herself, like just the doors that woman's opening up. It's crazy.
Literally.
I wouldn't have even thought about it.
I don't even know how she has the
before.
patience to deal with that. Like, I was like, this is but it's amazing.
No, but do you know what it is? Do you remember how everybody was talking about how initially she was wearing a turban and now that she's actually like in there, she started wearing the full hijab.
Reality came
Watch
out.
next year she'll be wearing jilbab.
Love it.
Oh my god.
She finessed her way in.
Yeah, I have full energy. I love it.
Shaking.
Imagine, like,
Imagine.
but how funny is it that those 4 women that are so different are the most talked about? They're 4 congresswomen.
So it's
Palestinian woman.
Yeah.
Ilhan, Alexandra.
The Palestinian woman
And
and,
that
a
was
black
the
woman
one,
from
yeah.
like Michigan or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're making
Wow.
noise.
So they're making noise, and it's like, look at the impact that we have. 4 women that are just
Love
happen to
it.
be
And then we
different.
have the UK and Boris Johnson, honestly.
And
We don't
pretty
even have them.
Priti Patel and
Oh,
Sadiq Khan.
wow.
No.
It's like in here now.
Just see them coming out.
She's just there, like, raw.
Wow. Sajid Javid.
I know.
Oh,
But it just goes to show, like, even if there is diversity, it's not always reflective of what we
People
want.
love the word diversity. Literally. But I feel like, you know, because it's 2019, like, you could really take advantage of diversity if you really needed to. So for
Definitely.
me, I was just like, in that situation, I was just like, for you to come back and then say, I want diverse, I feel like that was just ridiculous. I was just like, are you being serious? Yeah.
It's mad.
I know.
It's so mad. It's been lovely having you guys here. We really enjoyed it.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
allowing us to kind of give you a platform to talk about this, because I know like it is quite a daunting thing to talk about, and like there must be like obviously some fears involved as well, but like we're so happy that you guys have trusted us as well for this story. It's like, and
You
like
guys are so
we
sweet.
got
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
honestly, like actually, you guys, you're so sweet. You were listening to everything. You like come on. I was like, because I listen to you guys as well. I was like, oh,
all the time.
Hey.
Yeah. Honestly, I really do appreciate it because I feel like everyone did have my back. So I feel like I really, really did feel like it made more of a noise than I expected. So I really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. Honestly, and I think just moving forward, I think if you're listening to this and you want to know, I just think honestly, like, the more that we have each other's backs, look at the impact that we could have. Honestly, just deep it. It's just like we can do amazing things, inshallah. But yeah, so we've been the £3.30 podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will share Hafsa's tweet on the Hafsa's thread on our
Follow me on Twitter.
£3.30. Yeah, what is that you
I
guys?
didn't even have to.
Shout out guys if you guys want to follow you. Suddenly energy.
Actually, do I want people to follow me? Okay.
Our people are really
Our
nice.
people are calm.
Our
They're
people
very
are
nice.
lovely.
_ Hafsa XO.
Go and support, guys. Go and retweet her thread. Go and
Show
retweet
lots
it.
of love.
Show lots of
Guys.
love, inshallah.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Amazing. So we are available on Instagram at £3.30. We're available on all social media platforms except for Facebook. Raw. Yeah, we now have
I don't think
Twitter.
anyone's on Facebook
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, we'll link it all in the description box. You can listen to our podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, apart from SoundCloud.
One
Because
SoundCloud.
well, we ain't got a mixtape.
You say the same joke every time.
Every time, and it's still funny. Anyways, guys, bye.
Bye.
Bye.